Hey, this is Matt from Custom Car Grills with a mesh install for a 2014 and newer Dodge Durango with the standard crosshair grill. Once the grill is removed from the vehicle, the black plastic mesh needs to be separated from the grill shell. A flathead screwdriver will come in handy to release the tabs that are all around the grill. With all the tabs released, then the black plastic portion should easily pop off and should be saved for later. Next, the crosshairs need to be removed, and for this I like using an open-ended handsaw. I'm getting close to the edge of the grill, but not so close that I'll run the risk of digging into the edge. This plastic is fairly thin, so this step is relatively quick to do. Once all the crosshair pieces are cut, then they can be thrown away. Now, I'll grab my Dremel and equip the number 543 cutting and shaping wheel. The top of the wheel is highly abrasive and works well for shaving down the cut edges to be flush. I'm only trying to get the plastic down to the normal edge height, nothing more, nothing less. Having a steady hand or someone to hold the grill frame will help for this step. Here's a quick look at how my cuts look after a little time with the Dremel. Next, I'll start repairing these gaps by sanding the front surfaces a little with some 100 grit sandpaper. On the back, I'll use some extra mesh that I have laying around to help bridge the gap and give me a surface for the repair material to be dispensed on. To help hold it in place, I'll grab some tape and firmly press it on the mesh and grill frame like so. The repair material I like to use for these projects is Valvoline's Plyo Grip Plastic Repair number 3. This should easily dispense on to any sort of support material such as the mesh that's taped on. I'll build this up just a little higher than the edge thickness. From there, I'll grab a spreader and work the material around to get full and even coverage. Once the Plyo Grip hardens, then the tape can be removed and thrown away. Next, I'll grab some 100 grit sandpaper again and sand the Plyo Grip down as smooth as I can. Then, after that, I'll mix up some Bondo and start applying it to the repaired areas. I'll overfill it just a little bit and then spread it around, very close to how the Plyo Grip was applied. After the Bondo is hardened, then I'll get the sandpaper out again and start working this to be smooth. As I progress, I'll shift from some coarse sandpapers to finer papers until I'm satisfied with how smooth the edge is. If there's pinholes, then a finishing putty will probably take care of those. Here's a quick shot of my grill before paint. Everything's looking really smooth on the front. With the back, all the repairs look good, and it's important to note that I didn't build it up excessively thick. Next, we painted the grill shell flat black, and this turned out amazing. It looks factory fresh, and I'm almost ready for the mesh install. Before I install that though, remember that factory mesh part that was removed earlier? Well, the top part of that piece needs to be cut off and reattached to the grill frame. A simple cut on the edge seen here is all that's really needed. The Dremel and cutoff wheel will make short work of the whole thing. Before I get to the center, I'll stop short and make a cut here. Then I'll go back over to the outside corner and make a cut here also. With all that done, the part we need will come right out like so. There's going to be some large burnt-on plastic bits that can be picked off by hand. I'll repeat these same steps on the other side of the factory grill mesh piece. With both the sides cut out, they can snap right into place as seen here. These will play an important role soon with the upper splash guard. Okay, now let's take a look at the mesh piece that we have for sale on our website. This mesh comes pre-cut and pre-formed with all the right cutouts made in all the right spots. The mesh should drop right onto the back of the grill like this. Please note that the bent edge wraps around the back and faces the front of the grill. The mesh needs to be temporarily held in place, so I'll grab some cable ties and foam. From here it's just simply a matter of looping the tie around the grill and through the mesh and then fastening them together. It's important to get the ties in spots where it's not going to distort the grill. It's also important not to over tighten them because that can distort the grill frame too. Here's a quick close-up of some of my ties. The foam on the front of the grill will help protect the finish, and the tension of the ties will make the mesh and frame appear seamless. With all the ties in place, I'll cut off the tail ends and throw them away. Before permanently attaching the mesh, I want to double check and make sure that there's no gaps. This looks okay, so I think we're good to go. To bond the mesh and grill frame together, I'll use up some of the plyo grip that we have left over from before. This can be dispensed directly to where the mesh and frame make contact on the back. I'm making sure that I use enough so that there's a good bond between the mesh and frame. This is fairly quick to cure, and after about a half hour I'm ready to cut the ties off. These can be removed and thrown away along with any foam used. Any clips that may need to be reinstalled can be done at this point. Then, the upper splash guard will need to be shaved down a little bit to accommodate some of the extra thickness on the back of the grill. The top of the shaping wheel with the Dremel works really well for this step. Just keep shaving it down until the splash guard is a good fit without it coming into too much contact with the mesh area. Now all that's left is to reinstall the grill back on the vehicle. Overall, this was a challenging but rewarding modification. With some basic tools and a weekend to work on this, the stock grill can be transformed into a whole new look. It's a must-have mod for any Durango owner who's trying to separate theirs from all the rest. Here's some pictures of the install that we did for a local customer. This makes a huge difference when compared to the stock grill, and this one can be easily accessorized with lettering or emblems. Well, that's all I have for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions about this video or any of our others, then feel free to contact us, and thanks for watching.